What are the common part-time jobs for the students here in Japan? Will you be able to recover all your expenses once you will get a part-time job as a student? Studying in Japan can be an amazing experience, but it is also important to consider the financial aspect before jumping and making the decision. So that is what this video is all about. Let's talk about that. Hi, Bubblydina here, and welcome to my channel! For those of you who are new to my vlog, I am an ALT here in Japan, but previously I was a language student. Recently, I have been receiving messages having questions about language student. So for today, I am making this vlog to answer those questions. So we are going to talk about 4 important things. The first topic that we are going to answer is the question about the pocket money. How much pocket money I had when I initially came here in Japan. And then the second topic will talk about the cost. So if we are talking about the cost, that will talk about your tuition, your apartment, and your other expenses once you will be here in Japan. And I would like to say that these are all based on my own experiences and on my own observation. Alright, let's get started. Now, let's talk about the pocket money I had when I initially came here. When I was in the Philippines, that's exactly the same question I had. And so, I really can relate. Before I will answer that question, just a little story time. I came here in Japan July 8 of 2022, and that was summertime. And that was after pandemic. But actually, it was still pandemic time. However, it was not too serious anymore. With the situation during pandemic and then coming here in Japan with those big amount, those times was really rough and very difficult. I was struggling, as in super struggle. I don't really want to disclose the amount I had when I first came here because, to be honest with you, it was really a small amount. However, I would like to recommend or suggest a certain amount you may need to bring. I think personally, 40 to 50,000 yen will do if you really don't have enough budget, because 40 to 50,000, I think, in my own opinion, will allow you to survive for the first 2 months. Just a little disclaimer, this will really depend on your lifestyle and your expenses. But I would say, based on my own experience, if you're new here in Japan, you really want to explore more or visit other places. And sometimes when you visit places, you want to buy something or you want to try something, especially the food. So if you have enough budget, then bring enough money. It will be also good if you will bring some canned goods or some food from the Philippines or from the country where you are from, because it will help you sustain your daily needs if in case you will be short of money. When I was a language student, my budget for food was around 20 to 25,000 yen per month. And then the rice at that time for 5 kilograms, that would cost me 1,500. But right now, it's around 1,700, around that amount. And then for 10 kilograms of rice, I think right now it's 3,000 plus. I'm sharing about the rice because, rice is life. Diba? Also, during my first month, I still have Filipino food, so that actually saved me at those times. And also, one thing I would share, they don't have powdered milk here. So it was a good thing I brought with me a Bear brand, a big Bear brand powdered milk, because I saw a vlog before that here in Japan, they only have liquid milk. So it's a good decision I brought with me the big powdered milk. So if ever you are coming here, make sure to bring. The good thing about powdered milk is that the expiration date will last long compared to the liquid milk here in Japan. It doesn't last long. So it's a practical way. And guys,
Before we continue, if you feel that this video is quite helpful, please do subscribe. Subscribe. Tick, tick, tick. And if you have any questions or anything to add, please leave a comment down below. Any suggestions of what to blog next is welcome. So please leave a comment.
and also, please do not skip the ads. okay? Now let's talk about my tuition and my apartment rent. So prior coming here in Japan, I needed to pay the 6 months of my tuition and the 6 months advance payment for my rent. Here are the charges. But those are not the final amount yet because the actual amount I paid to the school was this. It's quite big, right? And you might be asking why. That is because I needed to pay my entrance fee, selection fee, what else? Equipment fee, insurance, and the pickup fee. I actually requested at that time to be picked up at Narita Airport for convenience because it was my first time. So again, this was the total. Just convert it in peso or whatever currency you are using. Though I am sharing with you that I was allowed to pay at least 6 months of my tuition and 6 months advance payment for my apartment rent. However, please know that each school has their own rules, and also I am not sure if my previous school still allows that up until this time, but you can actually ask your agency or the school directly. Now for the bills. Let's talk about your utility bills like water, electricity, and gas. Actually, I have a copy here. So let's start first with water. So in terms of water, guys, normally they will bill you every 2 months. My bill for water every 2 months is around 2,300 for 2 months. And then for gas and electricity, I would just like to say this in advance so that you will be aware at least, because for electricity and gas, expect that it could go higher, especially during winter and summer season. And actually for my gas, normally it's 3,500 per month, and then my electricity is around 2,400 per month. However, when the winter season started, my gas went to around 4,000, 6,000, 7,000. And then for my electricity, it went higher to around 7,000. And then I was so shocked. It went to 12,000 yen. Imagine that 2,400 normal monthly bill to 12,000. That was quite high, my goodness. The next month is that my heater, the remote control here has a timer. So I set the timer, and also I make sure that during daytime, I don't use much. I only use it much during my sleeping time so that I do have a good sleep. Most Japanese people use kotatsu. If you don't know what's kotatsu, I'll just post it here. And that kotatsu is actually saves a lot of electricity. Another thing is it's a blanket that it has a wire or something that they just plug it in and then it warms. I wasn't too prepared for this winter season, and on this next winter season I want to have those winter essentials so that I will be able to save electricity. And I'm sharing this as well so that in case you are coming here in Japan, you have an idea that your electricity and your gas could really go higher, especially during winter season. Next is your phone number subscription. So even though you will be bringing your own cell phone here in Japan, but you need a Japanese phone number. With your Japanese phone number, you need that to apply for a Japanese bank account. My phone number here in Japan is from If Mobile, and that was actually recommended by my school. They helped me fill out the form when I was a language student. The good thing about If Mobile is that they will give you a Japanese phone number and you will have your own data. For your own data, you can select which one you like, so I'll just post it here with the prices. Just like to share, when I was a language student, I only have 1 gigabyte for the data. Imagine that. So I only relied on my school's Wi-Fi, my workplace Wi-Fi, and convenience store Wi-Fi. But then the good thing about If Mobile is that, for example, in the middle of the month, you will need more data, then you can actually ask the customer service that you want to add more data. And they have English customer service, which I like. For those of you who are watching right now and your phone service is way cheaper than mine, then please do comment below so that those students who are watching right now or upcoming students who are watching right now can get an idea. And then the last one is your insurance, health insurance. Even though you are a student here in Japan, health insurance is mandatory. And normally, health insurance is around 2,000 to 4,000 every month. Now, let's talk about the books. So for the books, actually, just to set expectation, before your class starts, your school will ask you to take a test because they want to assess your Japanese level. So depending on the score that you will get, they will ask you to buy your own book depending on your level. When I was a language student, my first book was this because I got a very low score and my Japanese was not too good. This is for N5 level, and for the price, this is actually 3,400, and this one has a Bumpu Noto, 1,000 yen, and then the other one is for the Kotoba Noto, so around 5,400. And then the second book, which is for N4, is this one. This is Dikiro Nihongo. And of course, they also have for other levels, but it would really depend what's your level or what's your score during the initial test. There was one time one of the subscriber asked if you really need to be that good with your Japanese and with the kanjis and so on. Do not feel too pressured about your Japanese level, because if you are a beginner, it's really expected that you will struggle at first. However, if you are coming here in Japan as a student, I would suggest to familiarize hiragana and katakana and then learn more vocabularies, because you will be able to use those vocabularies once you are here. It might be very difficult for you to speak the language at the beginning, but at least you will be able to connect what they are trying to say with those simple vocabulary words that you know. So learn more vocabularies. Do not feel too pressured about kanji. Kanji will just follow. Even Japanese people find it difficult. So, but if you do have more time, then that's good that you study in advance. And the third question is very interesting because this is the same question when I was in the Philippines. Will you be able to recover all your expenses once you got a part-time job as a student? Personally, again, this is based on my own experience, I would say no. However, if you just want to maintain your daily expenses, you are studying Japanese and then you are doing part-time jobs, I think that's achievable. If your goal for coming here is to earn a lot, it's difficult. So here's my case. Before I came here in Japan, I paid 6 months in advance for my tuition and then 6 months in advance for my apartment rent. But then I got a part-time job. I got 2 part-time jobs. First one is in supermarket, which was 1,000 per hour. And then my teaching job, which was 1,400 per hour. But then for a student, you are only allowed to work 28 hours per week. But the good thing is, during winter breaks and summer breaks, you are allowed to work 40 hours per week. So, naakay time mamawi. And even though I got a part-time job here, with the salary that I was getting, I was saving that for my remaining 6 months tuition and my remaining 6 months for the apartment. So I was catching up, and that's the reason I was really broke. I have some schoolmates who paid 1 year advance and 1 year, I think 1 year advance for their apartment. So the salary that they're getting, they were able to save that up. So that was actually quite good for them. However, earning too much, earning a lot, if that is your main goal, I think it's difficult. What are the common part-time jobs for the students here in Japan? When I was a language student, the common part-time jobs that my school offered were works in factory like cake factory, convenience stores such as 7-Eleven and Lawson, supermarket part-time jobs such as York Benimaro, and that was actually my first part-time job here in Japan, and I was assigned in the kitchen. Most of the time I was making bento and sometimes washing the dishes. And you know, my first, second, and third week was so chaotic because my Japanese level at the time was super low and I was so dumb. That was crazy. But that's where I learned most of my Japanese vocabularies. And people there, the Japanese people there was so nice those times. I didn't regret that experience because that's how my Nihongo improved at that time. And then other part-time jobs they offered is in hotels like housekeeping, Also, I had some friends in Tokyo and in Osaka. They had part-time jobs like McDonald's, ramen shop, ramen restaurants. So those are the common part-time jobs that you can get here. And yes, English teaching job is one of the common part-time jobs that you can get here in Japan. That's the reason actually why I came here in Japan in the first place, and I can testify that. My first job was in York Binimaru in supermarket. It's because during that time when I asked my school if I could get a teaching part-time job, however, there was no available position that they can offer me at that time. So I worked in York Binimaru first, but since I really wanted to get a part-time job which I can teach, then I searched in Google nearest English school in my area, and so I got a lot of results. So what I did is that I went to their website, get their email address, and then I sent an email for my application. However, there are also some websites where you can apply directly from their sites. That's how I got my part-time job for teaching. As in Utsunomiya, as I have noticed, range for English teaching job is 1,300 to 1,500 per hour. However, if you will be teaching kindergarten, per hour is a bit higher, but I'm not sure with the other cities. Before, I got an offer for 2,000 per hour. The bad thing was, it was a conflict for my Nihongo lesson because my Nihongo lesson is in the afternoon. It will start at 1 to 4 p.m. So it's better you have Nihongo lesson in the morning, and then in the afternoon you can do your part-time job thing. So I think that's a good one. I would just like to share my side of story here. When I was in the Philippines, I knew that I will be struggling when I will come here in Japan as a student. But I don't know, my dream is actually bigger than my fears. So I took my own path and I took the courage to come here and start over, starting from scratch and back to square one. You know, the decision of coming here has a lot of doubts, even to those people whom I truly valued. Even my family questioned it, even my mother and my father asking me to go back instead because I was so stressed. However, if you are going to ask me if it's all worth it, it's really all worth it. Recently, I really have something to share. However, I want to share this in my next coming vlogs. This is a good news. You have seen the previous part of my vlog, so hopefully this is something I could share on the next coming days. And also, I would really like to say this. My story could be different from your own story, and we may have different situation because again, every situation is different. The reason why I'm sharing my story is because to give you inspiration, but not all situation is the same. But I think that's the number one reason why you are here. It's because you want to know more and you want to learn more or balance things out, weigh things out about the journey of coming here in Japan as a student. If you feel and you are very confident that you will land a better opportunity here in Japan, then why not take chances? Chances are, if we don't pursue what we want, it will really keep hunting us in the end. So try. And I hope that my story inspires you and that give value to you while you are watching this vlog. So thank you, and please do subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Stay tuned on my next coming vlogs because I still have a lot more to show. Thank you so much. More power and good luck. See you in my next vlog.